Good morning, everyone. This is Nate G. We are going to start a scan for TPS setups on a 30-minute chart and then mark them up on View using VP and create some plans for buy spots into the coming week with FOMC coming tomorrow. We should have some opportunities if we get a dip in the market to pick up names that we like, and we'd like to be ready for that. So I'm going to switch over to my Thinkorswim charts and my flexible grid here, and we are going to do some scanning. So to start off, as you know, I or may know, I have a 30-minute TTM squeeze scan set up in the left-hand lower side of my charts here. You can see it with all these squeeze boxes. And this is set up in my Thinkorswim scans, and then I've set it to show up in this watch list over here on the left hand side, and then I'm going to sort that column by 30-minute squeezes, and then we're going to go through these and we're going to look and see what is setting up on the 30-minute or potentially a 78-minute. On the chart in front of you, you'll see the four main charts in the grid are a 5-minute, a 30-minute, a 78-minute, and a daily. The upper right corner is a weekly, just to kind of see what that looks like. And then, of course, in the bottom right-hand corner, I have the ticks and the VIX and the ADD. And from here, these are already populating on 30-minute squeezes. I did another scan. I did another video that shows you how to set up that scan. And so you can find that on YouTube. So I'm not going to go through that. But as I toggle through these, I'm going to say their names because you can't really see my cursor the way I'm streaming right now. But where I want you to look is up here, and this is where I'm looking. I'm looking at this 30-minute chart right in the center of the screen, upper center. Kareem, the VP that you're seeing right now is not important. We will do that in TradingView. So you can just see a little bit of VP. It's just to kind of give you an idea of where things are. When we get to TradingView, we're really going to set that up and look at it. Okay, so if you guys want to follow along on your own charts, the first one we're looking at is BX, Blackstone, on the 30-minute squeeze. It's actually kind of interesting. We're through earnings. I'm going to write BX down. 30-minute looks right to be right at point of control as we've popped up and come back into point of control. So I want to take a look at that one. Next one down is NOW. NOW also looks interesting. It's not a perfect bird pattern, but it's interesting. So I'm going to write it down. The next one is DASH. Dash is not very interesting on the 30-minute chart, but I do find it interesting on this 78-minute chart down here in the lower left corner. It kind of is starting to set up a bit of a bird pattern, as you can see that on this lower left corner. And then we have winter earnings. Let's see. Earnings are on 8-2. So I like Dash. I'm gonna put Dash down too. Next one is DHR. I'm not interested in that at all, right? Next one is PanW. I don't see anything in PanW that interests me. I'm gonna, let's see here. Hold on. Let's remove some old drawings. I don't know. Let's go 300 days. Oops. I must have a lot of drawings from way back in here. But here's the funny part. I think D-Man took some Pan W today. But there's nothing here that I'm overly excited about. The daily actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to write over on the side, PANW daily, right? We're going to look at Shaq. No, thank you. Nothing there. 30-minute, 78-minute, daily, maybe at the 21, but not really a squeeze. I don't like it. KMX, nothing that pops out to me. ADP. ADP is interesting. Earnings tonight, I'm going to move past it. ROST doesn't interest me. CI, Cigna does interest me. I'm going to write down CI. Lulu, not interested in Lulu. SWKS, no, not interested in that. LII, Linux. Earnings look like they're right around the corner. Tomorrow? Yeah, not interested. IWM is an index. TNA. TNA is pretty interesting. TNA. I actually like it a little bit better on the 78-minute, so I'm going to write that down. Visa. As our earnings tonight, I'm not going to do anything there. IBM, I like this chart a lot, so I'm going to write that down. HON doesn't interest me. Apple. Apple's interesting. I want to write that one down. I mean, I know this is boring as all get out, but this is the grind, right? This is the grind that you go through to find charts that set up. This is how you do it yourself instead of waiting. Adobe. I like Adobe on the 78, right? STZ, pretty extended. I'm going to move past it. UPS. URI, nothing. APO is interesting. FDX, nothing. A couple more here. TTWO, nothing. CNC, no, I don't like it. It's getting below a certain level. WMT, no, I'm good. And finally PG or PNG. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to look at it. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stocks. Have a nice trip, Nate. Looking forward to having you back tomorrow. So I'm going to write those down for everybody here. So we can, if you weren't writing them down on your own. TNA, IBM, Apple, APL, Adobe, APO, and PG. Whoops. And then we are going to add AMD, NVDA, and yeah, I can check Dow. Okay, so any questions on what I did there in Thinkorswim to scan through charts on multiple time frames? I'm going to switch over to TradingView, so if you have any questions, now would be the time for that. Okay. So, with no questions, I'm going to jump over to TradingView, and we're going to mark these charts up. Okay. So quick check on positions. Rivian's looking pretty good. It's making a move back up. Let's see. Yay. Still looks great. I'm still waiting for ABC to come back. Oh, what's going on here? 5 still looks fine, right? 5's making that higher low here. So we're still in business. Yeah, Chris, I scanned for 30-minute squeezes within 6% of their, I think, 72-week high, if I'm remembering correctly what that scan is, and also that have an ATR above 1.5. So Ashley, I'm looking for that's a great question. You're wondering how I decide if something was good or to look at further. We'll talk about that in TradingView, but you'll start to notice what we're looking for. So let's put the first one in, BX. Let's put ourselves on a 30-minute chart. Actually, I'll show you kind of what I'm looking for. I am looking for a chart. Let me back up one spot. Okay. I'm looking for a chart that looks like this or something similar to this. This is EA this morning. Right? We call this the bird pattern, right? We've come up, we've made a high, right? We've pulled back, we're consolidating around the moving averages, right? In what would be a descending triangle formation with a squeeze, right? So I was scanning for a squeeze. So down here is the squeeze. I'm looking for a move up, a pullback, and a consolidation around the moving averages with this squeeze. Trend, pattern, squeeze. That's the TPS method, right? And so I'm just looking for stocks that kind of set up like that, and what your eye will begin to notice those things. And so when I'm flipping through those charts, I'm looking for this kind of a pattern on a 30-minute or a 78-minute, or even the daily, right? Or something similar to this. And the more you do it over and over and over and over again, the more you'll be able to spot it quickly. Okay. So let's go to BX. BX on the 30-minute chart. Not exactly the the bird pattern, right? But we are consolidating right here at this point of control, and the bulk of our volume profile is above this line. Now, the only thing I'd be concerned with potentially, yeah, like a flag pennant, D-Law, yep, ascending triangle, I'm sorry, descending triangle. The best, let's go back, sorry. Let me get off of replay here, sorry. The best look like this, I'll show you. Let's see, go back to replay. Let's go to here. And then let's look at, I mean, this is perfect. This is Adobe before Adobe ran on the 130. So what we're looking for is this spike up, pull back, consolidation, right? The best are the flat top ascending triangle, right? And that's why we call it the bird pattern or the woodpecker pattern, because that's kind of what it looks like, right? And we have a squeeze going right here. So that's what we're looking for, and it doesn't matter if the squeeze is headed down. The ideal situation for us is that the squeeze momentum has rounded to either yellow or light blue, and that's kind of when we want to enter. Kind of in this area. You want to get the best entry you can off of the support levels, but you want to enter while you're in a squeeze, and wait for that squeeze to play out. So if we wait for this, if we just watch this play out, consolidate it for a while, and then off it went, right? So that's what we're looking for in a TPS pattern. Okay. So back to BX on the 30-minute. It's not the best chart, but if we're going to mark this up, right, this is our point of control. This is a really great risk-reward spot. I would even put, a stop slightly below that. You could play that for a move back up into this high up here, right? So for now, if you like that, I'm going to put a resistance level up there at 108.47. I'm going to put a true lower support level down here at 103.59, and plan to play it right here on this point of control at 104.48. I'm going to make that red. So BX on the larger time frame, potentially coming into some resistance here. But if we can get up above this level, this upper level at 108.47, this is the daily chart. If I was going to play these options, I would probably play about 15 to 20 days out. You could play all the way out to October if you wanted to. They have earnings October 19th, but it will resolve itself prior to that. But if we can get a breakout over these levels here at 108.67, there's some room up to 113.81. Karine, you want me to brighten up this screen a bit? What part of it would you like me to brighten up? I mean, it's a black screen, so I don't know how to brighten that up. Is the volume profile hard to see? Yeah, Karine, I did list all the time frames in the in the beginning video. Yeah. UPST at new highs. Man, I should have taken that one. Oh, and now I didn't make any changes. so now it's better, huh? Okay, is it just when I get closer to it? Maybe. Okay. Yeah, just let me know if you have any trouble with some other stuff. So we've got some support resistance levels on BX. I'd be looking for an entry this morning, basically, off of this point of control level at 104.98. You could, if your risk parameters fit, you could enter it now. I would stop below 103.59. Really, that gives you about $1 worth of risk if you take it right off that point of control level. And I'd be looking for a partial at 108.47, and then potentially a move up into 113.67. But I personally wouldn't hold all of that because my rules dictate that I have to take some off at the upper resistance line on the breakout. Okay, so the next one is now. All right, so we're starting to form a potential bird pattern here. There's our point of control. Let's see what this looks like on the daily. It's always nice to just make sure you're not running up into any kind of crazy resistance levels on the daily. This is actually pretty good. It's pushed up above some what look like key resistance levels, and it's come down into support. So old resistance becomes support. I kind of like this here. So now let's go back to the 30-minute chart. Let's see, what am I doing here? Okay, so as we come in here, the level to pick this up off of, if you like this trade, if you want it. Oh man, these options are going to be brutal. Hold on, we might just have to ditch now. Hold on, or you have to have a pretty big account. That's the other thing we need to do. I mean, they're expensive as hell. They're playable though, in terms of the spread. And we have earnings tomorrow for now, so now gets crossed off the list. Nice catch. Nice catch. Okay, so CI Dash is the next one. 30-minute Dash. Yeah. The only issue here is we're going to put this on the watch list. The only real issue here is we're pretty extended. So I would say we could set a support level down in here. Let's see. Let's look at this on the daily and make sure we're okay. Dash looks a lot like now on the daily, and we have earnings when? The 2nd. Okay. We could play that into next week's options, right? The only real issue, here's our point of control. So we'll put a line there at, what is that? 85.20. Our support level line is at 84.12. Our resistance level sits right up here at 86.04, basically. And we've essentially, so then that's a 30-minute. So let's come down to a 1 minute and let's see what we're looking at. So we've had a couple of failed breakdowns. They reclaimed the pattern, which is pretty bullish. We've had a fake breakout, And then we've come down into these volume profile levels. We've actually broken below and reclaimed it. I'd love to pick this up down here at 84.10 area. I'm going to set a little bit higher. I'm going to set an alert a little higher than that. If it ever comes down into that, and if this goes, it goes, right? But, I'm going to miss it, and that's okay. Asian trader, yes, isn't the momentum on the histogram going down on the previous time frame? So are you talking about the 15-minute time frame from here? Is that what you mean? Momentum's going up on the 65. On the 30, and it's starting to round on the 15. Oh, on BX. Well, we'll go back to BX in here in a minute. So Dash is going to be a tough one to trade. It's kind of going sideways here. It didn't set up a true bird pattern. But we have support and resistance levels and point of control, which can help you try and find some entries. I like setting an alert down here around 84 so that if it ever comes down into that level, you can assess whether that's a trade you want to take. Next one is CI. Did I do that right? No, I did not. All right, now let's see how CI looks on the daily. Looks pretty good on the daily. Let's see where we've pushed up just above this point of control level here, which I'll put in red and see if that matches up when we get down into a smaller time frame. That level is 293.77. And it's kind of consolidating right there. So let's get into what this looks like here. So we're pretty close. This was the level I drew. This is their tighter time frame point of control. So we'll just move that down to match. I think we need to get above this level here at 294.58. I think CI, let's just check. Does CI have decent options? So, yeah, spreads are fine. Has weeklies. So that's good. I'm just checking that on another chart. Sorry if that's... Tim L, I'm not worried about X dividend on BX. Okay, so let's keep marking this guy up. Obviously, we've put in a sort of a double bottom in this area. So that could be your true resistance, support levels. We had a little break there and reclaim, which is super bullish. We talk about that. Let's go to a 1 minute. Right? Even if you were looking at this chart with a support level, sort of in here, right? When you get this breakdown, you get a breakdown and an immediate reclaim, you'll see that it went from breakdown, reclaimed the pattern, pushed straight up into a breakout, or if you're using this level here at 294.57, a fake breakout, and then it worked its way back down to the bottom end of the range. So those are really bullish. And fake breakouts can be pretty bearish as they come into point of control and then collapse back down to the lower support line. I would love to pick this up around 290.20, right? We're pushing up above the point of control here. So if you really liked this one, you could look for it on a retest of that point of control. So we've pushed up above point of control. You could do a buy there for a move like this, right? I would never want to make that a full position buy, because what could happen is we could go to buy there and goes like this and then works its way back up. So this is where I would want to go. I would want a half buy on the potential bounce here, half position, and then leave room to add down to here with a stop just below that, right? Because if this does just bounce and go, great. You've got half a position, so you'll get a piece of that move. If it doesn't bounce and go and drifts all the way back down, you still have left yourself room to add, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put an alert down in here. Oops. I'd kind of like to see if it comes into. So I'm going to put alert basically at 291 on dash. Nope, sorry, that's CI, not dash. TNA. I ended up liking TNA on the 78 minute, I think. Yeah, this is good looking. We've got our point of control here on the larger time frame. So let's just put that in. I personally like to make mine red. I think our true support level is about here based on chart and VP. Let's just call it 39 even. And then I feel like if we can break resistance level there, which would then ideally match up with the trend line break as well. So what we're looking for would be a break of this level, a retest, and a go. I would love to start a position on this right at point of control. So now this is the 78-minute chart. This is the bird pattern we talk about, right? This is TNA. Let's make sure TNA has decent options. Let's look at the chain. 139.43. Yeah, it has decent options. They have weeklies. The spreads are okay. So that means I like this one. I'm going to actually star this one. I like this TNA chart. We've got some rounding momentum here on the squeeze, heading upwards. I would have loved to, we'll go to the 1 minute here. I would have loved to pick that up this morning on the dip, but that did not happen. So there's nothing for me to do right now in TNA. I'll go to a 5 minute to make this a little easier to look at. Okay, we've got support and resistance, yellows, and then we've got our red line, which is our point of control. And so I would like to see, I'm going to get those to match up. One's the auto point of control, and then the other one is the one I drew. I'd like to see a move back into sort of this area between the two red lines for an initial entry. Not a full entry, because I'd want to see I really would like to pick it up down here, right next to 39. So I'm going to put an alert in there. And these are all going on the watch list. And the histogram on TNA is dark blue. On the 78-minute chart, the histogram is not dark blue. The histogram is rounding yellow, which is positive momentum. Let's look at the daily chart. No, I'm not worried about that because there's no squeeze. I'm playing that 78-minute chart and the squeeze on that 78-minute chart. I'm not playing the daily, so I'm less concerned about that. That 78-minute looks great. Let's just see what it does. All right, I've got an alert set in for an entry. I'm actually going to put another alert right in that point of control area. It's not at a spot I want to buy it right now, but I like that one. Rock and Rob, first time seeing TNA. Can this be a buy and hold stock versus options? It can be whatever you want. Oh, TNA, I didn't even realize that. Never mind. TNA is an index. 3 times. Oh, interesting. All right. I did not realize that. I thought it was just a regular stock. I mean, you can still play this. Small cap bull, 3 times shares, 3x shares. That's interesting. Well, it has weekly options on it, so you can still play it, but it's not an actual stock. I'd have to do a little bit of research to find out. It's obviously small caps, so I wonder if that's probably why the IWM came up on the scan. Yeah, the IWM looks very similar. So you could also play that if you wanted to. And that's the Russell 2000. That's small caps. Okay, IBM. Sorry, I'll kind of wrap this up because I know D-Man's going to be on here in a little bit. 30-minute chart. I mean, I feel like if IBM breaks above this recent high, we could get some nice movement. Here's the daily chart. Yeah, I like IBM a lot, but I'm going to need a pullback on it. I've got to figure out how to get that to just automatically. I mean, obviously we're up here into support level. Oh, sorry, resistance. I always do that. I always just say them backwards. I wonder if I'm dyslexic. So, and then I would put my support level on this chart if I was trying to play it at 138.81. My point of control sits here at 139.45 area. And we're looking at right up into resistance. So this is not the spot. Can anybody hear my dog in the background dreaming? He's chasing rabbits. Chasing wabbits. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this is a no buy right now for me, unless we get kind of a clean breakout above. And what I would be looking for is something like a breakout, a retest of that area, and then a potential go with kind of a tight stop as it enters back into the pattern. My coffee sipping, yeah. I'm on the West Coast, man. It's still morning for me. Oops. What in the world? So I'm going to wait on that, but setting an alert here at 139.45 or setting an alert down here at 139. I like IBM quite a bit. It looks poised to just rip. So, but I mean, there's really no buy here. You're right at that resistance point. Kate, it's Nate G Trading. Rock and Rob, you'll pray for me on the West Coast. I appreciate that. The getting up and getting prepped in the morning for trading is it's an early morning. That is for sure. Okay, let's get through these a little faster. I don't know if this is helpful or not, or if I'm just sort of babbling away over here. Apple looks great. Apple looks very, very, very similar to, Adobe. They're gonna, it's gonna be the same as NVIDIA, I'm guessing, or pretty close to it. AMD. So these are the levels I would start to mark up. As you can see, I start to do this kind of fast. 192.39 would be, true support would be below that, but I think my support level would be at 192.34. Our point of control here is 192.80, 192.9, almost 193, let's just say. The only issue with this is we're getting pretty wiki. We are the knights that say knee. And if we get into a larger time frame, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I think of Apple now that I'm looking at it. I know we're very close to all-time highs, or we're at all-time. Oh yeah. I do. Man, Apple's just kind of a buy at any dip, isn't it? At least it has been. Let's extend this. If you're following that trend line, if you're following the trend line, Apple is strong. I could see a buy off this point of control level. That's where I would like to see something. It's starting to get a little extended here. You're maybe looking at oh, I didn't want to do that. Let's look at it on a 1 minute. So once you start to draw those in, you can kind of see, where these levels start to kind of show themselves. Highs and lows. That was really at another low there. So I'd like to see something off this lower line. I mean, really what I'd love to see is this kind of do. I'm going to draw it, but you see this lower support line here at 192.23. And then you see this trend line that I drew in here. You know, it's not exact because I drew it on a 65-minute chart. And I guess we kind of touched it this morning, but I love it when support lines or point of control lines and trend lines match up. Those are always great places. We did that on ESPN. I just read chat. Sorry, we did that on MMM yesterday. I'd love to see this kind of do, you know, some of this, some of this, some of this, and then, you know, that'd be a great entry spot because it'd be matching up with the trend line, be matching up with a lower support level, and a breakout. So that'd be great. So I'm going to put an alert. Sorry, let's get rid of that. I'm going to put an alert on Apple right down, right at that 192.50 level. I just want to know when it gets there. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy. I could also see a pickup off of 193 point of control. But where it's sitting right now, nothing to do. Adobe, I already talked about earlier, 78-minute. Obviously, with both of these, with some big-time tech earnings coming up tonight. And there's our bird pattern from earlier. Not a lot to do there, but let's mark it up anyway. Hopefully this will help in just getting in and marking up charts. I took this off the POC on this 78-minute today, and I swapped that out for profits up into that support level, this preliminary support level, resistance. God, I every single time I got an issue. I apologize. It's a resistance level. This is a support level. Bottom end of this value area here, right? So we've kind of marked that up. Come down into here. You can see this resistance level. We've bounced off it a bunch of times. We've come down in here to the support level. We could even adjust that slightly based on what we see in the chart. We see this. We could even put support down into 514.57. Point of control stays right there. You can see once we get above it, we're bouncing off it a few times, or at least in that range. Point of control is at 159.42, and I'd love to see this get above, 524.47, but we've just kind of bounced off of that. So, what I could see happening here is maybe something like this, right? Or I could see something happening like this, right? So I would maybe take a starter there, take a full position there, stop out below that, right? So that's Adobe, APO. Sorry, two more, and then I'll jump off. APO 30-minute chart. Point of control clearly sitting right here at 81.22. For me, bottom end of this value area low sits there at 80.69. feel like anything below that, and you're looking for a little bit of a collapse, as you see there's not a lot of volume below that. So that's kind of a ledge. You see a breakdown and reclaim there, which is bullish. And then, you're probably going to see some upper end resistance kind of up in there at that VP level at 82.50 area. So then let's come into this. Here's this, right? We talk about a breakdown and reclaim of the pattern being bullish. That's what that is right there. Stopped a lot of people out, I'm sure. And immediately reclaimed the pattern, although it was kind of forming the pattern, so maybe that wasn't a clear enough breakout for most people. How does APO look on the daily? Oh God, APO looks great on the daily. Is that really all-time highs? It sure is. I like it. Oh, how close are we to earnings? Come on. Oh yeah, could take next. What's that, next Thursday? So you could take next Friday's. Let's see. I feel like this is going to be a trick of some sort. Let's see. That's a 1 minute. I'm going to go to APO. Check and make sure that 185 yeah, they are definitely playable and weekly options. Ooh, Rivian making a little move. I like that. So that's good. I like this APO chart. I'm going to put that over here. I want APO. I want to know when APO comes back into this point of control area. Yeah, I like APO for a run into earnings next Thursday. So if I was buying APO, I would buy the August 4ths, 81 or the $82. Might even splurge for the 80s. About $3 a contract. I don't. Yeah, I like that a lot because we've also kind of broke. Yeah, basically formed kind of an inverted head and shoulders. I'd like to see a retracement back to that point of control level and or this lower support level for an entry, but I do like APO. I'll be keeping that one closely on watch. And then the last one we had was PG. I'm just going to cross PG off the list because I just don't love the pattern at the moment. So PG's getting the axe. We had Pan W on the daily. That one looked pretty interesting. Nate's buying an AMD put credit spread. Pan W earnings August 30th. Right at point of control here. Daily squeeze. think this pattern probably, does it break down there? Hold on a minute. Let's look a little bit closer. I feel like this pattern starts breaking down about there. At 237.53. Look at this. We got this nice pennant going. Man, I think D-Man picked this up today. I think. I'm not sure. Where would I want? I think I would look for an entry. I mean, we could pick it up here. I'd love an entry off of sort of this lower trend line of the pennant, maybe around there. Oh, that wasn't the one I was trying to use. Let's do that. You're going to see a little bit of resistance up there at 252.79. I mean, there's a couple spots it's got to get through. Whoops. Let's do that. It came up and touched that trend line. It's retraced back to this point of control. Put that one on watch as well. I'm going to set an alert right at about 241, 242 area, 241.50 area. I want to see if it can come into that. And then I'll make some additional decisions. But Pan W looks great on that daily chart. In that case, I would buy let's go to Pan W. August 30th. So you're buying the September 1st. Let's start to get a little spendy. Yeah, ideally you're buying the September 1st, kind of at the money, the 245s maybe. You could go a little earlier for the run into earnings. You just don't get to keep that IV from the earnings series. The August 18s aren't bad spread-wise. Actually pretty good spread-wise. All right, we're going to put that one on watch. Now, I promised before I jump off, I would mark up NVDA and AMD. So, here we go. Let's get rid of all of these, remove drawings. And let's start to mark NVIDIA up. I think I have an alert there. We'll get rid of it. All right, so we have, immediately what I start to see is we're trending up, right? We got this channel, this ascending channel. On the daily, let's go to a 30-minute chart here. The levels I see are, the first major level is 423, basically. I see a lower level here at 389 basically. We're kind of above those lines, but if we break down out of this trend here, this channel, then those will kind of be those sort of first support levels if we break. And then as we kind of come in, I see a level here at 447.40. I see another one at, where's that? 459.83, which we're kind of coming up into right now. So I'll drop into more of a 10-minute chart here. Yep, those levels match up fine. And then you're going to start to see a little resistance up into that area at 473.96. I'm going to adjust this one slightly. No, maybe I'm not. 447.60. So those are the levels I see kind of where we are now. Major levels at 473.95. Basically 459.66 and 447.64. With a much larger support down here at 423.59. So that's NVIDIA for right now. And actually we'll probably find, those are some levels, but here is within the current pattern. Within the pattern below, that's the value area high. So you'd probably see some support there as well at 439.57. And then obviously, again, at this double top up here at 479, almost even. All right, so that was NVIDIA, and then AMD is the last one. Let's get rid of all my drawings. Let's go to, I don't know, start with a 78-minute. Oh yeah, 78-minute on AMD is interesting. I'd put sort of support down there. Got a nice support level at 107.67. Got sort of a point of control, an intermediary point of control there at 110.56. Got another one up here at 118.18. Which, as you can see, this 118.18, once you push up above it, it acts as a support level for a while until it breaks. Then it acts as a resistance level, right? A couple of false breaks. So for me, why can't I do that? There we go. So this is a 78-minute chart. So yeah, so those levels are 107.66, 110.72, 118.19. We'll probably see a little bit of a stall, but less so up into 125.71. So those are some key levels. Let's just make sure they match up on a smaller time frame. That's a 5-minute. Yeah, you can see they match up. And this one here is less clear. This one might be up here at 126.90. But those are your largest levels. All right, let me get to chat, and then I'll jump off. Yeah, UPST was great, wasn't it, Philip? Yes, Andrea, on the squeeze. It's the squeeze I'm looking for. The red lines or yellow lines or light blue lines or dark blue lines just to help me figure out what the momentum for that squeeze looks like. That's really about it. All right, does anybody have any questions about those charts? So we marked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 charts. I really liked APO. I really liked TNA until I found out it was, a 3 times shares for the, essentially for the IWM or the small caps. It's still playable, so I do like it. But you're not playing an underlying stock. You're kind of playing an index. Apple and Adobe are also great, but they are going to be affected by all these earnings that are coming. TNA actually would not be. PanW probably not either. But now we have a bunch of charts marked up that we can use those levels to play as earnings dips potentially come out, or FOMC tomorrow comes out and can have an effect on the market. And if we already have levels picked out, we can buy off of those levels if we like it for a long, and be prepared for dips. Yeah, poor boy, the volume on options on APO, is not like Netflix or another, big cap name. But the spreads are tight enough. I don't see that there would be too much of a problem. The at the money options are there. There's volume in there, so I don't think it would be too big of an issue. I mean, it's probably not a massive mover. Let's see, APO. Yeah, it's an $80 stock that has a 1.8 ATR. So it's not going to, rip your face off to the upside. But I do feel like it does look like it could be a nice grinder into earnings. So, it's a little bit of a safer play. It's not a high short float name that's just going to rip up. Does that make sense? So, I like plays like that, kind of let them grind, and especially when you've got a target into earnings, you can just kind of let that thing grind and make you some slow profits. There's the quick ones, there's the quick hitters, and then there's the multi-day grinders. You just have to have the patience for the multi-day grinders, and then know where your stop is, if it works against you, because they can also be the multi-day faders, if you don't have a clear stop out and they move so slow that you're like, oh, maybe it's going to bounce. It's not just ripping my face off to the downside. So those are things to always think about. All right, everyone, that's it for me. I am going to jump off. I hope that was helpful. I know that's nice. That's slow, right? And it's kind of a grind, but it's what we have to do to prepare for when we get the dips that we're looking for, right? We know our levels. We know where we'd like to pick things up. We've set alerts. So it notifies us when we're coming into a zone that we want to relook at something. Asian trader, you want me to TTD. Yeah, I can do that real quick before I jump off, and then I'm going to jump. Ooh, AI made a move. That's pretty nice. Yes, TTD. Yeah, I was eyeballing TTD. Kind of eyeballing it short, but here's where I would say watch it very carefully. If you're long TTD off of these lows, we've broken below and kind of bounced off of some lower and created some lower VP here. But as we come back up into the point of control of this section, watch for a potential rejection into this 84.30 level. Right? It might even be just a hair higher, but so what could happen, I'm not saying it will, right? We've broken down out of the pattern, right? We're going to come back up and test it, and what could happen is a larger rollover. Obviously it won't go backwards, but you know what I mean? This is a pretty key level. It's got to get up above. Right? I think it's clear sailing if you can get up above 84.92. So I don't know if that helps. I mean, but if you're long it now and it's moving, that's awesome. But just beware of those levels as you come into those point of control levels. Once you're underneath them, you're going to see a rejection off of those. I'm not saying it's going to completely roll over. I don't know. It might just come back down. It might just go into here, into this value area low, and then start to push up above, right? It could do that too. I don't really know. But just beware of that rejection level, a potential rejection level. Okay. That's it for me. I will talk to you guys later. I'm in chat, but I won't be on the mic. And D-Man is coming on here at 1 in 10 minutes. So take a break, get something to eat, get some water, and sit down and take some notes. Journaling is the most, that and psychology are the two most important things, I think, to becoming a better trader. And so listen and take notes and follow the steps for journaling. If you're still kind of early in your journey and you don't already have an edge that works for you, that you know you can repeat time and time again, it's going to be a great session. Take care of.